So hi, I'm Stephen Barbery. This is my home.
Hi, I'm Steve Bone, the owner of Milex Residential.
I bought the house in 1995. I was living in New York and wanted a smaller country house. So I ended up buying the house because I really wanted something old, something that had a little bit of character. And I just had a vision for the future. It had 5 acres that someday I would retire here. You know, the house was built sometime in the 1740, 1750. It was sold for the first time in 1775. And during COVID, every morning, I got in the habit of walking to Wawa to get some exercise, to get coffee. So in the dark at 4:30 or 5 in the morning, I would walk to the Wawa. And every morning on the way back, I'd walk by a house over in the neighborhood behind us, and there was always a Milex truck sitting in the driveway and another Milex truck showing up. So the people were there every morning like clockwork working. And half the contractors I'd interviewed, they would never show up on time just to talk to me about making an investment and a renovation. So that's how I found Milex.
Stephen came to us with a vision for his home. When he came to us, there were a lot of aspects of the project that he was very adamant about. One was maintaining historical ambiance of the property and sort of maintaining the look and feel of the old farmhouse. So that was a big part of the project, and that was a big part of our mindset going through with the design build. So from the very beginning, we knew we had to maintain that sort of historical presence, that Bucks County feel. So that added a sort of a level of difficulty, if you will, to the job. Because we couldn't build it like we would build a normal new construction house or a new construction addition.
So this is actually the very first time I've ever renovated a home. I really had no idea what to do. I took the advice of Milex and his team to help me with my fixturing, what I shouldn't do, things like that.
In the process of this house, there were a lot of finishes that needed to be selected, and it started with the exterior, right? Obviously, we start with foundation and then framing, and the next thing we do is we want to dry in the house. We call it drying, and we want to weatherproof it so that we can then continue to work inside. So when it came to the outside of the house, it was selecting finishes like windows and what siding and shingle and gutter, and so there was a lot of option. We really stayed with the aesthetic and the motif of the old house. And you know, this is what a house would have looked like. Even with this addition, this is what a house would have looked like 100 years ago.
So for me, when I started the project, I really just wanted an addition. I wasn't really thinking about the old part of the house, but what I had to have in the house is I wanted a big kitchen because I love to cook and I love to entertain people. So a kitchen was first and foremost. And then I needed a bathroom with a large closet because I had no closets in the old house. So those were my priorities. And once I really started the project, you know, I decided, well, I live in Pennsylvania, I should have a garage, so I added the garage on. And once I had the garage, I might as well connect it with a mud room. And if I'm gonna have a mud room, I might as well have a powder room and a laundry room. So it kind of grew from there. And then on top of that, after we really went through the whole process of the addition, I decided, well, I can't have a beautiful new addition and then an old part of the old house. So then I decided, okay, I might as well renovate the old house as well. So now the entire house is really like brand new.
So the kitchen, we did custom inset cabinetry. All the cabinetry in the house and all the millwork in general is all built locally in Bucks County. So the second floor of the addition is the primary bathroom, closet, and which originally was going to be the office, his home office, and then eventually that office, as the project went on, just turned into more primary closet. So that's sort of the basis of the addition. One of Stephen's asks was he wanted to do something with the third floor. And in this house, it's not an actual third floor. It's what we would call a 2.5-story house. So the third floor had a lot of sloping roof lines. It had low windows, but it was a really cool space. So we ended up basically taking the third floor space and just making it into more living space. And it's one of my favorite parts of the house. We kept a lot of the existing old ambiance of the third floor. We were able to salvage some of the existing mortise and tenon joint beams that are up there. We were able to actually, I would say, refinish normally, but in this case, those floors had never been finished in the 150 years of their existence. So we actually finished them for the first time.
It's a little bit stressful because I'm never really here in order to complete this project and to work with Milex and his team and so forth. But with my job, I do travel. I've traveled for many years all over the world. So I'm used to doing things virtually. So I was very confident that if I had someone that I could trust, that I could get the job done. And after working with Steve and the follow through of him and his team and the response, whether I was texting or emailing or anything like that, it just built up the trust that I knew that I could count on him. And then he was also a problem solver.
We would have a problem would arise. We would have a few different options of how we could tackle that problem. We would detail those options and Stephen would pick one. So it worked out really well. So Stephen spent a lot of time obviously researching the history of the home since he's owned it, and sort of to maintain that, we tried to stay within those parameters. So one of the points of contention here was that we had originally had a walk-in fireplace in his existing kitchen. And so the idea through this process was to sort of maintain that fireplace. It was a really cool feature of the house. When we actually had the chimney inspection done, it became cost prohibitive to be able to keep that fireplace. So Stephen had done research and he came up with a solution to sort of integrate a gas fireplace into an old farmhouse. And it turned out amazing.
So I have to admit, the project really was so much easier than I ever anticipated, really only because I think of working with Steve and his team and going through the process and seeing my house grow to what it is today or become what it is. But honestly, I can't even believe this is my house and this is where I live.